Welcome back to the HerbRally Podcast. Today, I'm really excited to have on the founder of Organic Alcohol Company. That's Aaren Glover. Welcome to the show, Aaren.
Thanks, Mason. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Smoking herbal blends. We need some Mullen and some Kush, my brethren. While listening to HerbRally Podcast again. Herbalism at its finest with Mason Hutchinson. Yeah.
Of course, I'm really excited to delve into the history and learn more about the company. You serve primarily what I want to say is the herbalist audience, which is, of course, perfect for the HerbRally audience. So I'd love to hear about how did Organic Alcohol Company get started?
Yeah. So I had initially a fair degree of exposure to herbal medicine and herbal medicine makers pretty early on. So I grew up in Sonoma County. I was born in Sebastopol. I remember my sophomore year, I went to this little hippie high school in the hills in Cazadero, and a young woman was teaching a botany class, and she was currently a student of Rosemary Gladstar's. And a lot of the teachers and people in my immediate community were very involved in that very vibrant kind of pillar herbalist community down there. So I feel like it was kind of always in my in my experience and awareness from a pretty early age. And I remember in this botany class, we really did this deep dive into herbalism as medicine, and it was really fascinating, which culminated in a field trip to a semi-coastal hillside 40-acre farm, Tailor-Made Farms, which was actually owned by one of the first fair trade coffee roasters back in the day. And I ended up right out of high school, I apprenticed at that farm. So I continued to deepen my awareness of herbal medicine and botanicals. And from there, it kind of led into massage school, studied light blood cell analysis, a lot of different alternative healing modalities, which all culminated in me moving north to Mount Shasta. Started a business when I was 19, which was kind of a therapeutic intensive day spa, let's call it.
Awesome.
So, I've sort of casually studied herbalism on and off throughout my life. Later on, when I was living in the Rogue Valley in my 30s, I was just needing to do something to kind of rekindle and connect myself to, kind of connect to my roots. And I ended up studying with Jan Carlson, who was a student of Michael Moore's in the Vitalist tradition. So I did a 9-month program there, and not so much to be a certified herbalist, because at that point I had already started the distillery. I was deep in the industry from that perspective. So that's ultimately how I got into this space. After I moved to the Rogue Valley, I didn't want to practice alternative therapeutic as a career, but I liked business and I liked the community, and I had a certain awareness of the herbal community and herbal extract making, and I started to have conversations with a lot of herbalists who would go through this extensive effort in whether it's sustainably wild crafting herbs or growing their own or carefully selecting, paying this, premium costs for the best materials out there. And then it comes to the question of alcohol, which is a significant portion of the final product. And so as I kind of peeked under the hood and started to understand how large grain-based alcohol was being produced, especially in this country, it was really just at odds with the found the fundamental philosophy and worldview of medicine makers and herbalists. There was enough because of some of the companies that were, had experienced a lot of early growth, like Herb Farm and some of the larger ones. There was enough demand and need for organic alcohol, because obviously without it, you can't have a certified organic herbal medicine or herbal extract medicine, that is. And so there was a very limited availability, and where you could find it, they didn't want anything to do with someone who just needs a small amount because they're making their own medicine for the year, or they're taking a trip down to the Southwest to Wildcraft for a couple of weeks and need to have good alcohol. I started understanding the mass application of bactericides and antibiotics, and not to mention genetically modified seed stocks and all those things. And for me, it was like, there's really an opportunity here that's underrepresented. The only place when I started this company that you could get it, they would sell a 5-gallon, but they actually charged a fee for being a small quantity. And I was like, perfect. That's the sweet spot right there. That's what I'll do. I'll focus on making sure that someone that only is going to use a gallon for an entire year can get, the highest quality, that's got all the certifications, and someone who's invested in it and aligned in value and worldview. So that's what kind of led me. I had an herbalist friend who had worked at a distillery in Washington. They started a distillery to make beverage alcohol, and then they were approached by an organic herbal farm, and they were like, "Hey, we need alcohol. We're making these extracts." So he got turned on to this idea, and he was always talking about it all the time and showing me plans and all these things. So that piqued my interest, and I ended up going to this alcohol school in Kentucky, which was kind of, heart of the industry. Big, I mean, all the big players and beverage,
Bourbon.
industrial, all of it. Yeah, I went to my first bourbon distillery, which that was actually the moment. It was a distillery in Lexington, outside of Lexington, that had closed during Prohibition, and it sat for years and years, and someone had bought it, invested huge amounts of money into it. And I was there right when they were pulling their first maturation of bourbon off in this new operation. And I just remember walking into this big, 150-year-old stone building, and there's like a 5,000-gallon wooden vat of bubbling, fermenting, yeasty, smelled like a bakery and everything good. And I just remember staring at this and going, this is something. There's alchemy. There's alchemy going on here, and I want to understand it. And then you see the clear spirits flowing off their still, and it just kind of blew my mind. And I was like, all right, I think I want to do this. And I had no real background or knowledge other than I understood the herbal extract consumer a little bit, or medicine maker, and that was enough. And I was just crazy enough to say, all right, I'm going to build a distillery, and we're going to be certified organic. I had a lot of people laugh at me. The Oregon Liquor Control Commission, when I first talked to them about getting my state license, they literally, when I asked them, because I said, I want to basically put an organic version of Everclear on the shelves in Oregon. And they're like, that's ridiculous. We'll never approve it. So, it was a bit ahead of my time in that way. I did, it took over a year to get the distillery built and get all the licensing and permitting, federal, state, local, and to figure it out, because at the end of the day, I didn't have anyone with distilling experience. It was me and a family friend who had an engineering background. And when I was in Kentucky, we went to one of the oldest still makers in the country, Vendome Copper and Brass Works. I talked to those guys. They designed me a custom still, and we got a load of organic corn, and just spent 6 very expensive, scary months figuring it out. And it took about a year, got product to market early 2023. And, I think one of my first 55-gallon deliveries, I was loading with a hand crank lift, loading it into my pickup, driving it up to what was at the time Terra Firma Botanicals up in Eugene. Yeah. And I mean, I drove drums down to California School of Herbal Medicine. It was very roots for sure. And I mean, for years, it was, anywhere between 2 and 4 of us doing the whole thing. So yeah, that's what led me into it. It was kind of an interesting way. We obviously started focusing on herbal extract manufacturers and medicine makers. We now sell to 5 or 6 market segments that I didn't even know existed or used alcohol when we started. So it was a constant revelation when we first realized that people making natural perfumes or botanical fragrances needed alcohol. I was like, what? That's fantastic. So it's grown organically, so to speak.
First of all, I have to say, man, that high school you went to sounds like a hippie's dream. I would have loved to have gone to a high school like that. I have to ask, what makes you different from the other alcohol producers in the industry?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, the inception and existence of this company really comes from a deep worldview based on values and based on certain philosophical ideals. So, I think from its inception, the other companies that offered organic alcohol, it was really an afterthought. It was like, oh, there's some demand for this thing, organic alcohol. Okay, whatever, we'll service that. We'll make that happen. There's enough demand to make it worth our time. So for us, it was kind of the reverse of that. It started with an alignment and a set of values and beliefs, and grew from that. And in that has always been the foundation of sustainable values and deep respect and connection to the ecological majesty of the natural world, and understanding natural systems and really being aligned in that worldview and perspective. So I think what really, where we really shine and stand apart is that this is really, it's not just a business and a market that we're selling to that's, got a line item on our on our projections and our income statement. This is what we do. It's a lifestyle. We're engaging with a community that's our community. So rather than coming in from the outside and learning about it, and there's people that have been doing this for a while that have come to really respect and value the more sustainable footprint of organic source alcohol and what it represents and how that's supporting our ecosystems, and how that supports pollinators and clean water and heritage grains and all those things. And that's beautiful. I mean, in my mind, however someone arrives there, it's a good thing. But I think that's what's always made us kind of unique in the market. We love to get to know our customers and understand what they're doing. After 20 plus years of doing this, I'm still learning things all the time. So that's the journey of discovery. We always feel like we're in this journey of discovery and mutual support. I mean, from a straight business perspective, obviously, if we can help our customers do well, we can save them time, money, resources, and help them in any way. That's what's good for them tends to be good for us, and that really shines through really a very moving level of loyalty and support that we've received over all the years. In 2013, the original distillery, Alchemical Solutions, which has its roots in the big vat of fermentation and that moment of like, what is this alchemy? So we built Alchemical Solutions, which was the first certified organic distillery in Oregon, I think the third in the United States. And about a decade of doing that, we started with a corn-based spirit. Then we started sourcing organic and biodynamic wines. And that's when we started producing grape spirit, which was very unique. And for about a decade, we were really the only place you could get a certified organic high-proof grape spirit, which turned out to be what the perfumers loved. The aromatic profile was really appealing to them. So that grew from there. 2013, we had a catastrophic fire, and 10 years of building this business, I watched the whole thing disappear in 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So that was a pretty intense revelation, and, classic Phoenix rising from the ashes, almost literally. We kind of were reborn as the organic alcohol company. And primarily because I got kind of tired of people calling and being like, is this Al's Chemical? And for me, it was like, alchemical, like who doesn't, but
That's
then
funny.
I realized, oh yeah, I have this kind of, I went to a little renegade hippie high school. I grew up with herbalists.
You were in a bubble.
Yeah. So, I just was like, I want to call this company a name that literally says what we're doing. And I was like, organic alcohol. There we go. That's what we do.
And you got organicalcohol.com. That's quite the URL. So your director of marketing, Christina, we've been having a little communication back and forth, and she requested that I ask you about what is OA Inside. So Aaren, what is OA Inside?
Yeah, so it really comes, OA Inside really has to do with what we were touching on earlier, which is just what makes us unique, how we stand apart. And that the obvious is, so OA meaning organic alcohol. It's a way to kind of bring the value add, those additional places where we shine, kind of bring it into awareness more. So OA Inside is really, we're really focusing on building it as kind of it almost becomes its own moniker. It's like you see the certification monikers for organic and different things. And OA is kind of, it's not all organic alcohol is equal. Chemically, maybe, but where is it coming from? What's behind it? What are the humans who are, dedicated to procuring and sourcing that alcohol? What are their values? What do they care about? So it really has to do with more than providing a good product at a competitive market price and providing great customer service. It really represents what else is in there, what else is inside. And to me, it's a bigger consideration. It goes beyond just the molecule and the packaging. It has to do with our philosophy and our values and our mission and who we are and that we really care, and that, we could source a good example would be our organic cane spirit. There's some big producers that we could source from in Brazil, probably at a slightly lower cost. The organic operations, they're good. Brazil's a big sugar cane market, but if you really look at even the organic agriculture and cane practices in Brazil, there's a lot of deforestation going on. It's monocropping. There's a lot of things, that as we, most consumers have some awareness now that not all certified organic things are created equal. So for us, when we identified a producer that was truly creating a regenerative product, I mean, giving back to, protecting wetlands and forests, and engaging in regenerative water cleanup, reforestation. They built educational schools. They mostly employ underprivileged single mothers. They're doing incredible work. And for me, as a consumer, I'm happy to pay a few bucks more for something, knowing that that's what I'm investing in.
Absolutely.
So I think that ultimately, that's really what OA Inside. I mean, it's a cool label. We've got a growing number of companies who work it into their, to their label or their branding somewhere. And that's really what we want. We want it to kind of be recognized, and even if it's a small circle of consumers or manufacturers or makers who have that awareness, that they see that OA Inside and they're like, oh, it's not just organic alcohol. That's organic alcohol with heart, that aligns with my values, and a team of people that care about what I'm doing and are genuinely interested. And really, I mean, our customer service philosophy is, what do you need? How can we help? And we'll spend, I've spent 2 hours helping someone who's buying a gallon. And our team will spend the same amount of time with someone buying a gallon a year and someone buying 10,000 gallons a year. Now, the larger customer generally has more requirements. So pragmatically speaking, we might spend more time with them, but it's not a bias. We really meet people where they are, and we love to engage and learn. And we really are thrilled and excited. I think that the greatest job satisfaction for most of this team is when you were able to convey that little extra, or go that extra, put that extra effort in, really pump someone up, just stoke out their day. What I love is we're leveraging 20 plus years of experience, and there's so many times with someone that might have started as just a little medicine maker out of their house, and now they're kind of a growing, enterprising small business. And through our own trial and error, I mean, 1 hour long conversation with one of our team members often can save someone weeks of time and frustration, and and just being able to point them in the right direction and give them some resources and tools. So we definitely, I think that back to what really sets us apart, we definitely provide a level of customer service that I think has the efficiency and kind of functional application of a big company, but we bring so much more to it. So yeah, that's really what OAC, or what OA Inside represents, is all of those additional things that we're bringing to the table. So, and when you open that bottle or that container, it's not just pure, fantastic alcohol that you trust and has all of the, T's crossed and I's dotted, so you can do what you're doing and passionate about. But knowing there's a team of humans behind you that care and will take the time and support and genuinely want to know, what are you doing? Like, tell us about what you're up to. And that's why we love doing the features and spotlights on customers, and collaborating, whether it's with educators or a startup.
Well, I'm excited to buy a tincture bottle and turn it around and see OA inside. I can't say I've seen that before, but maybe I just never knew about it. So now that I know about it, I'll be paying close attention to that. But what else is important for folks to know about Organic Alcohol Company?
Well, I think that really it's the way that we align ourselves in our mission and commitment to build community. We were very much we very much believe in the power of authenticity and transparency. When I first started the distillery, the spirits industry, you realize this is way before craft spirits was even a term in anyone's mind. And it was so tight-lipped and weirdly competitive, and everybody was, there was no collaborative kind of culture. And that was really challenging for me on a fundamental level. And so that really informed, I think, one of the core foundational pillars of our company culture, which is to be authentic and to be transparent. And I would rather, risk, and we have, over the years, there's other players in this space that we go to their websites, and they've literally, they didn't even have the like thought to change the words. We've literally had people like copy and paste stuff from our website.
That's shitty.
Yes and no. It's shitty or flattering. I don't know, but
imitation is the finest form of flattery, as they say.
Right. And to me, I think that, what's the risk? Okay, so from a competitive business perspective, is it the most like ruthless, savvy, business-oriented approach? Not necessarily, but it is authentically human and represents the way we want to be in our lives and the way we want to build community and engage and connect with one another. So that's really, that's a big part of it. From the beginning, I'll say, are we anywhere near the level of, sustainable infrastructure and, really decking out, going to that highest level of, lowering our footprint? We do our very best within the constraints of having to be in business and be competitive and offer, product at a price that our customers can afford. But I continually am excited to have those opportunities to go further and do more. When we identified this alternative source for cane alcohol that just was so profoundly much more aligned. I remember going through their marketing material, and I kid you not, I was like, I cried. I was so moved because business it's a lot running a business, and it's the day-to-day and the grind. And so it was kind of it was like tears of renewal, just reminding me what it is we're doing. And, from the very beginning, we've discounted and donated to herbal schools. California School of Herbal Studies the first drum I ever drove all the way down to Sebastopol, they couldn't really afford, they didn't have a budget to pay like what we really needed to charge. So we basically got them a drum at below cost. We've, offered discounts to herbal students and educators almost since the beginning. So, very much believe in education, very much love to collaborate and really approach our customers and prospects in the market with the belief that, what's good for you is good for us, and trusting in that. So yeah, I think that that continues to be really the heart and most important message that I want to convey. And it's a unique time, through the pandemic. I mean, market conditions kind of push us more and more into this like high volume commodity side of the industry, which was never what the intention was. It's never been part of our mission, vision, or values. But lo and behold, that's where the market conditions kind of drove us there. And, as we've gone through some challenges and kind of reoriented, really the powerful thing for me is it just was an amazing opportunity to realign to those core values, to our roots, to those foundational, like why this company exists, why it was started, what we want to be doing. And I'll tell you, competing with multinational billion-dollar corporations, moving a commodity like any other commodity, that's not where I want to play at all. So it's kind of been a powerful reaffirmation of our core values and philosophies that were really at the alchemical beginning of the first fermentation that became Alchemical Solutions and Organic Alcohol Company.
Well, I appreciate your commitment to herbal education. In fact, I'm not sure if you're even aware, Aaron, because Christina set us up with the HerbRally Schoolhouse discount. So we really appreciate that. That's kind of on the newer end. So if you're listening and you're an HerbRally Schoolhouse member, we now have an Organic Alcohol Company discount, which is pretty sweet. Y'all also hooked us up with a special discount for this particular podcast episode. That's Hello Herbal 10 at checkout, presuming that's for 10% off. And that's going to be for all online orders through the end of 2024. I'm getting that right.
Yep,
but yeah.
Hello Herbal, capital H, capital H. 10.
Awesome. With the number 10. Yep. 10% off. Organicalcohol.com. So right after this call, Aaron, I'm going to be speaking with Logan Keister. He's an herbalist, works for Strictly Medicinal, so another Southern Oregon herbal company, and I'm excited for that. But I have Oregon roots. I'm from Eugene, Oregon. Next time I'm in Southern Oregon, I'm going to have to swing by Strictly Medicinals and the Organic Alcohol Company. It'd be awesome to take a tour. So any kind of last words before we wrap up and get out of here?
No, I just, I really just to express my gratitude. I mean, we have the absolute most unique, dynamic, coolest customers in the world that continue teaching us, and we're learning, and we love growing together. And so I appreciate it, and I love these opportunities. I love the work you're doing. I actually listened to a little bit of the Ashala
nice
Farm podcast, and we're participating in the summer herb camp this summer, as well as other events. And so, I just am so grateful for this community, the loyalty and gratitude that has been expressed to us over a long run. And we're still here, and we're still dynamic and growing, and that's because of the amazing customers that use alcohol to make incredible things. So a lot of gratitude.
Amen. You rock, Aaron. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I'm really stoked to publish this episode. Should be out within a week or so. So
amazing.
We'll get it out there ASAP. And thanks y'all for listening. We'll see you in the next episode of the HerbRally Podcast. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mason.